Oh, you're right. We could place the difference anywhere, but the difference is
That's
real. It is
arbitrary.
objectively real.
Yes, of course the
Where we
difference.
place
Wait,
the difference.
nobody's saying there's no difference between black and white people. We're saying the lines where we draw these categories are absolutely social constructs for species differentiation and for race. I'm not saying that there's no difference between black and white people. Of course, we can see their skin tones are different, but I'm saying that where we draw the lines, the categories, these are a property of linguistics, of collective psychology.
Right. I mean, all categories are drawn by our imagination. We could see none of them. We could see all of them.
Hold
but
on.
that isn't
1 second. There's somebody in chat who said something really dumb. Species is defined by what can interbreed. Lol. Nope. Have you ever heard of a liger? A lion and a tiger can breed. That is right. Yeah, interspecies. Interspecies breeding is a thing that can happen. There are different species for different types of like squirrels that have like different ear shapes, and they can absolutely breed. Mules are literally interspecies products.
Ring species. You know how there's on a mountain you can have a bunch of lizards that all go in a circle and they can all interbreed with the one next to them, but they can't interbreed to the one across from them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for that, it is also an arbitrary designation.
Right, so the claim is that race, that property, that we see differences between black and white people, is a real property, and it is caused by some real thing in the world, genetics. Where we particularly draw the line is just, you're right, that's arbitrary based on our current understanding of science, and as we get more understanding, we'll probably be able to define it more clearly, but it's no different from any other scientific fact. Race is a scientific fact, which is why it's real. I don't mean it's real.
No, you just said contradictory things. Race is the social construct. The ecoclines are a scientific fact, but race isn't. When people talk about race, they're not talking about like the exact like parts per million of melanin in your skin. That's a component of what people use to determine race, but that is not in and of itself race. Race is the arbitrary construct.
Race just refers to the fact that we see differences between black and white people. That difference is what we're referring to when we say race. Most people have no idea what that is. Before we understood genetics, we had no idea what that was.
And that's arbitrary, yeah?
Race. No, that's how science works. So
no, wait, you're going in circles right now. Yes, there are differences on average between black and white people, but if where we're drawing these lines are determined by people's collective awareness and not by some specific measurement of a given set of gene expressions, then people are using race as part of an arbitrary social designation, not as a part of some hyper-specific genetic delineation.
Again, exact same as everything in science. So take, for example, gravity. We called gravity like Ptolemy had a model of gravity, Newton had a model of gravity. They were both inaccurate. They were both not correct for their time period, but we still called them gravity because they explained the observable phenomenon. Stuff falls.
How tall does a person have to be before they're tall?
That's arbitrary. There is no measurable.
Yes, there is. We can measure people's height in inches. We have incredibly precise tools that can measure people down to a molecular level.
Yes, but it isn't referring to like a specific thing in reality. It's
it is. It's referring to it's referring to height. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a measurable property. So how tall of a person does a person have to be before they're tall?
Tall isn't a property of species. It's just a property of individuals.
Yes,
so
it is.
Doesn't work that way.
Wait, for sure it is. Wait, hold on.
So there are arbitrary properties and there are non-arbitrary properties. Like the weight of someone is a fact, but if they're fat or light is a subjective arbitrary criterion that humans have made up. There are different criterion. Some are arbitrary, some are non-arbitrary.
So wait, how tall does a person have to be before it's tall?
Tall is one of the arbitrary ones. I grant you on that one. So it doesn't not comparison.
How is it? Wait, how is it not? We have inches. We know how to measure the height of something. We can do it. We can do it objectively. We can do it whether it's in a vacuum or under the water or in the air. We can do it with height.
Again, there are some properties humans have made up which are arbitrary and don't mean anything. They don't correspond to anything in reality. Like tall. Tall does not correspond to something. It corresponds
to height.
No. It's an estimate of relative height to you compared to someone else. It is not a measure of height. There is
no. People will say X is tall. They're not saying X is taller than blank. They're just saying X is tall.
No, they're saying X is taller than whatever they reference to be their measurement of tall.
But I can go to a crowd of people and I can agree with people on who is tall and who isn't tall, like pretty definitively, regardless of any sort of like corresponding like comparison. So like,
I don't think that would work, but you can try it. But again, it's irrelevant because I grant tall is an arbitrary criterion we've made up, kind of like pretty or beautiful. That's an arbitrary criterion, but certain things are not. Like
you can measure face symmetry. Yeah, face symmetry corresponds very heavily to what people call pretty.
Okay.
So yeah, When does a person become pretty? Where's the ugly pretty line?
And I already granted tall and beautiful are both arbitrary criteria.
Okay, but you realize race is the exact same thing, right?
No, because race corresponds to something in reality.
Wait, tall corresponds to height.
No, tall is an arbitrary criterion we've made up. There is no tall. There isn't, like, saying tall doesn't mean anything.
And there is no white or black. There's just melanin and no shape. Wait, there's no such thing as black or white. There's just gene expression.
Very, very simply. Very, very simply. Aliens come to a planet. You tell them what tall is. They have no idea. Aliens come to a planet. They look at your DNA. They can tell you exactly where you're from.
They can measure you. Wait, an alien could come and measure you, and an alien could see your gene expressions, but you would still have to explain to them what black and white and tall are.
No, I didn't say anything about black and white. I said if you give someone their genes, they can tell you exactly where you're from on the planet.
That's not race.
That's race. That is it.
No, wait. If you want to bet if I Google race right now, it's not going to be where the place on the planet that your ancestors came from.
And race is the physical traits that we use that are based on ancestry. So it's a generalization of the ancestry.
That's ethnicity. Ethnicity is where we come from.
Okay, that's when people say race, what they're saying is there are these physical differences we see that correlate to your ancestry.
No, they're not. No, nobody's talking about ancestry when we talk about, again, Obama is half white. Obama is half white.
I already debunked your Obama example.
No, you didn't, because now you're talking about ancestry rather than just physical expression.
Right. I said at the very beginning, race is the physical expression we see that is tied to ancestry. That was the definition I gave.
Then we're not looking at ancestry. We're taking a look at physical expression, but Obama is half white.
Right. So I said that at the beginning. So we're looking at physical traits and saying these have a correlation to the ancestry of the person.
Yeah, and the height that you are correlates to whether or not you're tall.
Where are tall people from?
What? Wait, not all arbitrary designations have to have a geological corresponding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not arbitrary if it has a geological correspondence.
Wait, hold on. First of all, yes, it is. Second of all, people don't say race in reference to where you're from. You said it yourself. It's in reference to physical characteristics associated with ideas of where people come from. Obama is half white and half black. If you were to take a look at his genes, his ancestry would point in two different directions in equal measure. But everyone has agreed nonetheless that he is black. Not half black, half white, but black. We treat him black. He's our first black president. People aren't talking about he's in half measure from Africa and Europe. He's black. I can know
he has more African DNA than me, for sure. So
yeah,
I
can know when a person is taller than another person, but whether a person is tall is still arbitrary.
I already debunked your tall example.
No, wait, my dude. We're operating in crank territory. I don't know how to address this. Like, you're just wrong. By your own definitions, you're wrong. When people say race, they're talking about a socially designated set of attributes they assign to people's physical appearance, much in the same way as we can say a person is tall or short, and this corresponds to their height, which is objective. We can't definitively say when a person becomes tall. Our current conception of race is modern. It didn't exist 400 years ago. There were other conceptions of races that were no more or less epistemologically valid than our own.
Which is the same as everything in science. Again, what you're saying is, well, gravity isn't real. Gravity is a social construct. Like, no, it's not. There is an actual.
I never said. Wait, no. Wait. The fact that you think gravity is a social construct in the same way race is indicates you have no idea what I'm talking about.
What I'm saying, gravity isn't a social construct like race isn't a social construct. Wait, so gravity is a real phenomenon.
Genes aren't a social construct.
Right.
Race is. Race isn't just genes. It's what we perceive.
Race is the word that we use to define the phenomenon that there are differences between people groups. Gravity is the word we use to describe the fact that stuff falls. We don't know what gravity was 400, 500 years ago.
This is a linguistic distinction, not a conceptual one.
What?
Wait, listen. Where we draw the line for who is black and who is white is arbitrary. There are people who are 1/4 black, who are called and treated black, even though genealogically, if we were to open them up and take a look at where they came from ancestrally, they would be mostly from Europe. They will still be called black. What we determine to be black or white is socially constructed. The genes are real, but people aren't looking at genes when we look at other people. We look at physical characteristics, and it's on us to determine where those lines fall and overlap.
Again, that's equally the same for species, which is a real phenomenon. So that
But
doesn't help
species
your
is
case.
arbitrary.
The way we label species may be arbitrary, but the species themselves are not arbitrary. There is an objective difference.
The species is the classification. Human classifications
species
are
refers to the
arbitrary.
objective difference. Where you draw the line doesn't matter. There is an objective difference between birds and bats.
Yeah, and there's an objective difference between someone who's tall and short.
Okay. So, but that is, again, not referring to a thing in the world.
Yes, it is. It's referring to height.
No, again, it's not a thing in the world.
It's that's a property of physical matter.
Species are not arbitrary. Like, this is why
we live in a three-dimensional universe. There are three axes along which we can measure the lengths of objects, X, Y, and Z. And one of those we generally classify as height. And that's objective.
No, but again, that doesn't in any way help your case, because if you grant that there are different species and you're saying, oh no, all species are socially constructed, that just makes you insane, because you're just denying facts of everything in science.
Nobody denies that there are differences between different animals. We acknowledge that the lines we draw between which animals are of different species are arbitrary. Any scientist would say this. If I could get a taxonomist in here, they would agree with me that you can do a lot of research and argument to determine which and which is not different species, but at the end of the day, it comes down to arguments that humans have to make.